Hello and welcome to week 5 of my account update series. There's been a lot happening this week and there's a lot to discuss and do in game at the moment. So I'm just going to jump straight into it. And I think the first thing I'm going to quickly touch on, because it doesn't impact this account too much, but I think it may be useful to some others, is we've just had the update. I'm recording this on Wednesday, the 17th of December, and the last update of the year has just hit, adding in a bunch of Christmas packs and stuff for the next marquees, that sort of thing. But the big controversy is, I don't think I can show it on this account because I don't have any, is Datacrons, and they've essentially reduced everyone's to level 5, which was a mistake, both to get rid of the attacker crons. And yeah, I just thought I'd briefly mention that because it impacts a lot of people. It impacts my bigger account, and yeah, everyone is currently up in arms, I guess including myself in my quiet sort of way. So yeah, that's the big thing that's happened. The other thing that I haven't seen talked about, I think probably because the Datacron issue is huge, is if we go to the newsletter, they've released the error level requirements for Maul at the various tiers and star unlocks. And I think we had a couple of these. So we had the tier 1 and tier 2 error levels, so 55. All of these are manageable free to play, but when we start to move up to the higher tiers, so unlocking a 6-star Maul or a 7-star Maul, you start to need higher error levels. For the 6-star, you need a Darth Vader error level 70, which I think is possible by only spending on the marquee. But for a 7-star Maul, you need all of them at level 85, which seems like a dreadful idea. Which means even if you whale out on all of the characters to 7 stars, at the moment it doesn't look like you can unlock now at 7 stars, because you'll have to pay extra to get to level 85. Who knows, there might be some other way of getting the gear needed to get to level 85 that doesn't involve paying extra. But I thought I'd just very briefly bring attention to that. Yeah, because it's a pretty poor decision, if you ask me, pretty odd decision, because presumably people are investing in these 7-star unlocks with the assumption that they'll also be able to unlock Maul at 7 stars at the end of things, which has always been the case, but apparently not. There is, I guess, good news or expected news. So we do have the era currency make good for 5,000. So I'll be going over in this video what I'm going to be doing with that. Let's hop straight into the actual account updates. I guess that was the news headlines at the start. So I'm trying to be a bit more organized, and I've prepared everything that I'm currently working on. So first things first, SWGOH. I'm still grinding away on the alt. I think I'm now at 3 out of 10. I have no plans for accelerating this. I'm just going to mostly farm dark side nodes and get there when I get there. I don't really have any pressing need. And to be honest, just having a relic 8 SWGOH even without the ultimate is more than enough in terms of helping me move up squad arena, and is good in GAC, and I've made use of in TW, so it's fine for now. Obviously the ult is really good, so looking forward to getting it. I do actually now have enough Zetas, so I've actually got enough for 2. I'll apply one other to finish the Zetas on SWGOH. This one isn't that important, but I think as case my only GL, and for the sake of completion, I'm just going to apply this and round off the Zetas. So moving on. Last week I used the Kyber Lightspeed token that we got in the make good to take Padawan Obi-Wan up to Relic 6, and then bumped him up to Relic 7, which is where I'll need him for the Duel of the Fates assault battle. I also have, again, more Zetas to apply on his unique. The actual unique is fine. It's actually the Conquest Omicron that I really want, because Conquest will start next week and I'll be in, is it medium or moderate, or the middle Conquest. So started to get a little bit more challenging for an account this size. So I think it will be good to have Padawan Obi-Wan to just essentially blitz through difficult nodes and also do any debuff feats. So I'm going to apply the Zeta. So I actually got quite a few Zetas from the anniversary quest, which I'll go over in a bit. So was able to get all the way up to 40, which was good. And I'm pretty much caught up where I need to be in Zetas. And now I'm going to start to apply them to like the Radis team, that sort of thing. So I'm definitely going to apply this. I have a lot of Omicrons, so if you don't have that many uses for Omicrons early, I'm going to hoard them up for potential legendary characters in the future. But at the moment, there's just not a lot of good ones to apply. But this is very much a very good early game and sort of resource acquisition Omicron. So I will be modding him, and Jeb just started farming offense mods. So yeah, I'll be modding up his mod. So what else? So the big focus has been on farming for the Home One and Profundity, Profundity fleet, but also Profundity requirements. These are my immediate plans, my sort of next couple weeks target. So the pilots I'm only going to take up to Gear 12, and then the pilots I'm going to take up to Relics within the next couple of weeks. Of course, you'll see that Jin and Cassian, I will eventually take them up to Relics because they're required at Relics for Profundity. And also Admiral Akbar, we are getting a Lightspeed token in a couple of months. But because I think I'll be making quite a lot of use out of the Home One, I might just take him to Gear 12 in the meantime. Anyway, well, I'll play that one by year, but we'll see how that goes. So these ones I'm gonna slowly, I think, take Zeb and Akbar up to Gear 12. I think I might just apply a Carbonite Lightspeed token on Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, who is part of Bistan's ship. I think, especially now, I don't have unlimited Mark 1, which Mark 1 raid currency, and I also need it a lot for things like Bronzium wiring and Carbonite circuit boards, and even for buying the scrap needed for the Erodium heatsinks. So just started to face a little bit of a pinch there. So I think I'm just going to use 1,000 era currency just to be done with it and get Starf up to Gear 12. And I've been making good progress in the Coliseum, getting 300 era currency a day. So 1,000 isn't really too much, especially because we're getting the Make-Good, which is 5,000. So I think that'll be a very good use. Then the Relic pilots obviously already have Drogan at Relic level 0 from the Rebel Lightspeed token. I've actually hoarded enough Relic material to take him up to Relic 7 when I need to, because I'll go over it in a little bit. I've got my eyes on the B-Wing unlocking, I think, next week. I'll discuss that in a bit, but I'm ready to go for Relic 7. Helkertarn, that will be my second Erodium Lightspeed token, which I'll have enough for today. Straight to Relic 5. I already have him at 6 stars. That's not because I'm purposefully farming him. It's because I'm farming the Razor Crest, his ship, which I need to do anyway, so I just so happen to be farming him. So it feels like a bit of a waste because the Erodium Lightspeed token gets him to 6 stars, but there was no way around it. I'll now just quite quickly get him to 7 stars because I'm farming his ship. Hera, I moved up to Relic 5 from the Relic 0 that was the Lightspeed token, and that is the requirement level for Profundity, so she's technically my first character requirement. K2SO, I used the draw Lightspeed token, and I'm nearly finished getting to 7 stars. And Bistan, this is a recent decision, and I'm still not 100% sure. I'm going to see how things go. I think I might use my next Erodium Lightspeed token on him, just because I'm a bit worried that that Bistan's U-Wing might be a little bit squishy, because I think it's quite good to start it in the starting lineup. So I'll have one pilot at Gear 12, but I'd prefer to have the other at Relics just to bump it up a bit. He has a requirement at Relic 5 for Profundity. Yes, I've already applied some gear. Was that a mistake? I guess now potentially, now that my plans have changed, I maybe should have been a bit more patient with that, but it's only to Gear 11. It's not the end of the world. And I think I'd rather Relic him, I think, before Jin and Cassian, because I just have a feeling I want the B-Wing to be a little bit more robust, and they already have a Relic pilot as part of their 3, so they should have a little bit more power anyways. So I think I'm going to use a Lightspeed token on Bistan. I'm going to be just farming gear the normal way for Jin, and then I'll move on to these characters for the other Lightspeed tokens are farming normally afterwards. These are all good characters. They just don't impact my fleet, which is my big focus at the moment. So yeah, that's the plans there. The other, I guess, farms not really farms. My other lightspeed token acquisitions. I'm just mapping out which ones we're going to be getting. So I've just done the quest for Ahsoka and Jedi Knight Anakin. So I'll just go ahead and apply them. This should be a nice little GP bump there, 37,000, because she has this ship. Oh, the game keeps crashing with these anniversary lightspeed tokens. I'll be right back. My game always seems to freeze anytime I apply, not every time, most of the times I apply an anniversary lightspeed token. So we'll see if that also happens for Anakin. Let's get that done. And yep, I'll be back. Yep, that's Anakin done. I've no immediate plans for these two. I guess I can plug them into various Jedi teams, maybe a bit of use in GAC. But I'm not really planning on focusing on their ships. It can maybe be a good backup fleet because I have them at Relics, and we'll have Mace at Relics as well. But nice to have. The ones I'm really looking forward to are, I think, Keller and Beck and Shaq T, just to see what I could do with them in the raid. I mentioned I was hoarding Relics for Drogon. I'm also keeping some in reserve for Keller and Beck, because I think with a good Relic Delta advantage, he could do pretty well as maybe even a solo or duo in the raid. And will be just my general Jedi leader for characters like Padawan Obi-Wan and Minister Qui-Gon early on in the game. So looking forward to those that are coming out on December 30th, and Yoda as well. Mace will be good, sort of plug and play Jedi. And yeah, these are, I guess, my long-term profundity requirements that I'll move on to after I've finished, I guess, the ones that impact the Home One fleet, which I want to get up and running as soon as possible. And then I'll start to move on to these, which are good characters, but they're more, obviously, Radis is needed for the ship, but that's really important once it's unlocked. He's got a decent ground team. I'm not too worried about getting it up and running as soon as possible. So yeah, that's the character farming. Just continuing on from the character farming and my future plans. So if we pop over to the episode pass or track, started it yesterday, made some progress. I think have some, I guess, sort of quests, and these are just achievements. I'll be able to progress along this quite nicely. But the rewards, or the big reward at the end, lightspeed tokens and unaligned force user lightspeed tokens. So I wanted to discuss briefly what my plans are for these, which I should unlock in usually just over 2 weeks, like two and a half weeks, that sort of thing. So if we click onto it, actually surprised me that there's relatively few options, and I think that's because there's a lot of unaligned force users in the game, but loads of them are conquest units, galactic legends. I think there's like at least 3 unaligned force user galactic legends, maybe 2, but there's loads of legendary units. So it's generally quite a powerful faction, but which ones am I interested in early on? And I think this is quite an easy decision for what I'll use both of them on. So the first one is pretty obvious. For me, it's Mara Jade, and that's because I'm already working on Dash as a profundity requirement and Kal Katarn for the Home One fleet. So Mara is another requirement for Starkiller, and that will put me at 3 out of 4, at which point I will only need Darth Talon, and later on, maybe between Galactic Legends or after GL Leia, I can either farm her, or I could just, probably more likely, wait around for Sith Lightspeed token, which I imagine will come at some point as the rewards for these things. So yeah, that puts me very close to a good team. It is GAC focused, but I think just the fact that I'm so close to it with very minimal investment and I could use to beat low level raids, that sort of thing in GAC, I think is definitely worthwhile. The other area that I'd like to invest in is starting to look towards Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. So his requirements, Sarah Junda, Baby Cal, just Cal Kestis, I think in game. Those are the unaligned force user requirements, but then also Merrin, Tarful, and Saw. And the thing about that farm is all of them are only needed at gear 12. I think you do need them at 7 stars, but only at gear 12. But obviously you unlock Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, and one of the big uses or reasons to get him is that in territory battles on Zepho, there's a mission R7 for SWGOH, and one of the cows as a duo R7, but you only need one of the cows. So, and to be honest, you really need Jedi Knight Cow Castus. So I guess that's a long way of saying you need an R7 Jedi Knight Cow Castus and R7 SWGOH to take part in that mission in Return of the Empire, which unlocks extra Get To and also Chirotech, and I think it's a very good guild focused farm. And because of that, I think it makes sense to put one of the Lightspeed tokens on SWGOH, because she is in a way required at Relics for that event, where all of the other ones are only needed at Gear 12. And the great thing about this is that now we can use Lightspeed tokens to get characters, even Chirotech characters like they all are, up to Gear 12 straight away. So really, it's just going to be a case of me shard farming all of these requirements, and I'll just be able to get them, 4 of them at Gear 12 and SWGOH at Relics in order to do the mission. So I think that's a very nice sort of side farm to work on. So yeah, I think for that reason, it'll be Mara Jade and SWGOH. I think seem like the obvious choices. Other ones like Inquisitors, they will be Lightspeed tokens. The Balin requirements are good. I'm just not going in that direction with my account. I'm not going for Great Mothers early on. So yeah, it makes sense to go for these two. Great. So I was just talking, I guess we'll continue on this Lightspeed token theme. Actually, first of all, we're going to go back to the inbox and claim the 5,000 episode currency. So we'll claim that. So error shipments. So I'm quite amazingly have 9,000 error currency. I was sort of slowly working my way with 300 a day back up to 5,000 for another Erodium Lightspeed token, but this has just taken it over the edge. So what I'm going to do in terms of how I'm spending it will be on Cal Katarn for the Home One fleet. I don't know if that's the most universal use of it. Obviously, look at characters like the Jewel of the Fates characters if you haven't used like the Kyber Lightspeed token on them, and sort of heavy Chirotech characters are requirements, but also very good use is also just, instead of spending it all on one Erodium Lightspeed token, spend it on multiple Carbonite Lightspeed tokens. For example, you could do the farm I just mentioned. You can pick up SWGOH with the Bronzium token if you're free to play, and then spend 4 Carbonite Lightspeed tokens on the other requirements. So I think that's a nice sort of side farm, but obviously so many uses of this 5,000 error currency. Yeah, and I guess let me know what you're going to be spending it on. I'd be very interested to know. So let's just double check. He is an attacker, I'm pretty certain. I always get so nervous buying these because they feel like such a big investment. So let's buy that. And that's that one done for the week. And let's also pick up my first Carbonite Lightspeed token. Because this is a spending account, I felt comfortable going for mostly the Rhodium Lightspeed tokens, just because I feel I can get the currency at a good enough rate to justify that. But I think occasionally I would jump in and buy a Carbonite Lightspeed token, I think. So let's pick one of these up. And let's go up to the journey guide, go to my farming plan, and do more great farming with the Lightspeed token. So let's definitely promote him up to, so this will be Relic 5, this will be his Star Killer requirement, and also a great level to have him as a pilot, because he'll be one of the main engines of that Home One fleet. So let's boost him up and hope it doesn't freeze. It does not. So running a bit low on Omegas at the moment, so I'm going to be quite sparing with those. So I'll work on him and stick some just random mods on him for the ship. But that's good progress towards the Raven's Claw. And the other one I want to do is for Scarif. This isn't a Chirotech character, but I think I'm just in a little bit of a pinch for Mark 1 gear at the moment. Partly out of my own fault, I would say. But I think I'm fine occasionally spending just to get Mark 12, especially characters I'm just going to get to Mark 12 and forget about. That feels like a fine use to me. So yeah, let's upgrade him. Nice and easy. I'll quickly take him to like Gear 7 and stuff. It's essentially just to bump up the stats for Biston's U-Wing, which I will be making use of very shortly. Right, great. Again, I'll work on him later. So that's it in terms of characters. So quite a big update with more. I feel I'm spending like 4 Lightspeed tokens every week. It's pretty crazy. So we're going to jump over to ships. So again, steady progress for these. I can't remember if I finished CG Wing last time. I might have. It's quite an easy farm. I'm slowly working my way through the fleet shipment store for Ghost and Phantom. TIE Bomber just picking up in Galactic War. Raven's Claw I am refreshing. Business U-Wing, that is the one I'm focusing on. Quite good progress over the last week. So that's over 100 shards now, and definitely way ahead of the Razor Crest, which is good. And I've been picking it up with fleet currency and also Get One. There's none in the store at the moment. That's fine. And it's not too far behind like the Outrider. It's really only 10 shards behind at the moment, if my maths is right. And so, yeah, pretty good progress all around. The ship I wanted to talk about is the B-Wing. So I was kind of hoping that in today's update it would become farmable. That's not the case. It's still can't even purchase it with crystals and shipments, which I might have done, to be honest. But what did happen at the start of the week, when the episode store refreshed, it became purchasable for 10,000, which is a lot, but you can get 20 shards of a ship that is currently not farmable. And because I don't think we're going to get another update until January, I think it makes sense for me to buy this a couple of times, which means if I buy it now, which I will do, 10,000 episode currency is a lot, but because I buy the episode pass, I'm not buying Datacrons yet on this account. It's really not much of an issue, to be honest. I forgot to favorite. Where is the B-Wing? There it is. It's favorited. So I'm now at 20 out of 25 shards, which means when the store refreshes on Tuesday or Monday, I should be able to get it at least unlocked, which is important because the power is in the abilities. I mean, it is important to get this ship as high stars as I can because it is an attacker and will be my main damage dealer. But the big thing is that it can essentially come out straight away at the start of the battle and give 4 ships at the very start, and then cause the Home One to go into alt, which is great. So I just want this ship unlocked as soon as possible, which I think will help in Fleet Arena. And I also take Drogon up to R7 just to get as much power as possible because it will only be 2 stars. But if I can pick up 20 shards every week, I might have to save or stop spending in other areas in order to do that because it's quite expensive. But I think it is worth it, especially if I can get it to 3 or 4 stars before it becomes farmable. I think that would be great. So yeah, excited about that. Excited to finally get the Home One fleet going. Now that I have the Raven's Claw up and running, well, I say up and running, I have him at Relic 5 and 4 stars, so still a lot of work to do. And one of my big bottlenecks will be in like these fleet materials for upgrading. So I'm going to have to be very choosy about which abilities I do. I'll probably focus on like the B-Wing and the Raven's Claw and maybe some of Bistan's U-Wing abilities early on, but that'll be a slight bottleneck. And as I've shown before, I'm working on getting pilots to a reasonable gear level, making use of the profundity requirements as well. So yeah, I think good progress in fleets, and it's about time because I am not struggling. I haven't really gotten much lore than I was last week. I was able to punch up to, I think, 2nd at one point during the week. Today, I got very distracted by the update and then realized it was 8 o'clock and past my sort of payout time. So I just forgot today. To be honest, I think I could have climbed into the top 10 for sure, but I guess it's 100 crystals. It's not the end of the world. But from next week, it's probably not going to be completely up and running. I'm going to start to have the outline of the Home One fleet, which is good because I still think I'm a couple of months away from profundity, if I was to guess, because the profundity unlock is always on like the last day of the month, so usually the 30th or 31st. It will probably be the end of February. So I guess so 28th or 29th. It's not a leap year, is it? Let's say the 28th of February is my expected unlock date for profundity, because I just don't think I'd be able to farm the ships quick enough. I might be able to really rush the characters for end of January, by doing like lightspeed tokens, that sort of thing. But I'm only a third of the way through Beast Ends Viewing and through Outrider, so I think end of February makes sense. So that leaves 2 months of Fleet Arena, which I can make use of the Home One, which after I unlocked Profundity will be like my secondary fleet in GAC as well. And obviously a lot of overlaps in terms of requirements anyway, so I think it's quite I think it makes sense in terms of a sort of midpoint between now and getting the Profundity. So I've talked on long enough about all of my farms and ships and lightspeed tokens, so I think the next thing is everyone's favorite, Coliseum. I say that, I guess, somewhat cheekily, but I don't know, I'm starting to kind of enjoy, I don't know if enjoy is the right word, I find myself looking forward to the reset and seeing how far I can sort of push up these like tier levels and leaderboard. I've actually stopped. I haven't spent any more money this week, so it just felt like a challenge of how much I can just like improve with what I've got. And yeah, a lot of it's pretty artificial in terms of how far you can get going, but it is quite fun every time we get a new marquee character. Like we just got Yoda and Chewie this week, and then you can go and see, oh, what can we now do in terms of Coliseum and pushing up to those higher tiers. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying it. I did actually yesterday record what ended up being a 40-minute video of me unlocking Yoda and Chewie and going through the Coliseum battle, but I took so long deciding on certain upgrades and stuff that I think ultimately after today won't matter. So I decided not to include that footage, and I'll just basically show what I did. But first of all, I'll collect my rewards. Oh, right, I didn't know this would happen. So after unlocking Yoda and Chewie and taking part in the Coliseum yesterday, managed to get into the top 30, which is 500, which is pretty good. I don't quite know why or how I was able to climb so much higher. It felt like maybe a pretty fortunate run, and also obviously saved up era level currency to take Chewie up straight away, so that's great. 500, if I can get 500 a day, even a few days, that's pretty huge. That's like a 60% increase on what I was getting before. So let's have a look at what I did yesterday. So before, I think these two were, level 37 and 38. I then unlocked Yoda and Chewie and was able to take straight to level 37, I believe, to match them just using the gear I built up. I was then able to go into the event and get to 40%, which is this box, which gave me a load more gear and ability to take one of them up to level 40, because you get this little piece, which is a lot rarer. I decided, and this is why the video took too long, to use it on Yoda and Chewie because it had like a interesting unique, but ultimately it didn't really work out because I don't think the bosses can get out percent health damage. It was this whole thing, but I decided to go upgrade Yoda and Chewie. I don't know if it entirely paid off. Also, I don't think it really mattered. On my other account, I took up IG for the counterattacks. I've seen other people take up Stormtrooper Luke, but none of the uniques were that impactful, so I don't think it really made a difference, to be honest. So yeah, I took them up to level 42. These two were stuck at level 39. I'm hoping today I'll be able to progress a little bit higher, so let's jump into it. And this has typically been one of the easier ones. And look at that. So Yoda and Chewie does foresight because you can, so the mechanics are not gameable, but you can kind of understand them a bit more. So, and also now that we have Yoda and Chewie, who has another AOE, that should make this even easier, because what you want to do in this one is remove all of the stacks, but then don't do any more damage, is essentially the rule you need to keep to. So I'm going to do an AOE, if I can say that word, apparently not. I'm going to avoid using the Mass Assist just because I'll start to do damage under their shield things, which is no good. And let's go to Yoda and Chewie. I essentially just want to spread it out. So I'm actually not going to do the AOE here, because then that would leave one of them exposed, which actually I'm going to say isn't the worst thing, because it's just for one turn. So I'm going to see if I can just essentially suck up that. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. maybe shouldn't have done it. The idea is to remove these stacks, but don't do any more damage usually beyond that. So it's actually going to become a little bit of a balancing act as we get more characters to not do any damage. So yeah, so for example, now I think I just want to heal up and then just do a couple of basics. Lost Darth Vader, that's fine. Yeah, so we're able to get to 40. Hoping maybe a little bit higher. If maybe, I say we just go for it. Go for it, post a score, they'll all die. That's fine. Got to 40, which is the important thing. Oh, nearly got to 50. Maybe we should play that a bit. Yeah, so good progress, more gear and stuff and things, which I'll be able to upgrade. I think both Stormtrooper loot just to 40 for now, and also IG. Just bring the floor up would be the idea. And then I think, yeah, let's take IG up to 41 just because I like the fact that he counterattacks. So I think we'll stick with Stormtrooper loot as the leader. We've now got a slightly, in theory, slightly stronger team. So let's do this again. Maybe try to be a bit more careful about not removing too many stacks. So we're just gonna target him and do that. I'm going to avoid this mass assist. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave one with the shield up. Yeah, because you can see Darth Vader's a lot weaker actually. I'm gonna do that. That was the wrong move. I should have left Vader's AoE. I'll remember that for next time. And we'll just slowly work our way through it. Yeah, so there's certain things I'm still getting used to. I'm actually going to save that one for loot and just damage him once. Now I think I can use this on your boy. There we go. Let's AoE and tap him, and this is probably where I die. Oh, that's a good dodge. I'd love to have this ability back actually. But alas, there we go, 62. So I might be able to sneak up a little bit higher than that today. I'll do too much more of that on video actually. I think we'll just move on. Yeah, so I think good progress. Currently rank 24, but hopefully can push a little bit higher with various upgrades and a bit better play. So yeah, Coliseum is going well, and that extra 500 has really, yeah, I mean, that's pretty great. If I can occasionally pick up that, I would not be complaining. So let's finish off the various inbox stuff. I can now finally complete my daily quest. So the only other update this week is on assault battles actually, which I will now cut to some footage of me earlier doing the Secrets and Shadow assault battle, which was today actually. Yes, and then on Saturday it was the Empire assault battle where you fight Ewoks, and yeah, I guess the TLDR is that I was able to get to challenge tier 1 on both of them. I think in a large part to Relic Delta, especially for the Empire one. So I'll just cut to footage of me doing that. And yeah, okay, so here is some footage of my attempts to different challenge tier 1s of the assault battles over the last week. This one here is the Empire one against the Ewoks. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but this one I think has been doable with like Emperor Palpatine led team, maybe with Mara Jade before, especially at CT1, not at the higher tiers, but especially with Relic Delta now, I found that these challenge tier 1s where the enemies are the Relic 1 are very doable even with what I would say are suboptimal teams. So I guess what I have here is a Relic 7 Emperor Palpatine for SWGOH. So I guess not everyone would have him. I do have a Relic 5 Darth Vader from the Finalizer Lightspeed bundle, and I think actually most importantly I have a Relic 5 Tarkin for the raid, and I also stuck a little bit of gear on Thrawn, which everyone should have unlocked by doing the Phoenix Lightspeed tokens. So I think I got him up to gear 10, and he's essentially there just to pass turn meter to the bigger boys. And chopper droids are also allowed in this assault battle, so I just stuck him in there to essentially not die, just because he's at relics. But really it's Tarkin, as you can hopefully see from the footage, who is the surprising MVP of this. His AoE with a Relic Delta 4 just really wipes out those poor little Ewoks. So actually felt pretty manageable at this tier, and not so much at challenge tier 2 and 3 where the Relic Delta starts to close up, and where I think that's where I will need the troopers to essentially run a turn meter train through all of them and get those done. So yeah, really happy with getting my second assault battle at Challenge Tier 1. So this is all about getting those 2 Zetas, also the finisher gear and the Kyrotech online, and especially now, so just wrapping this up here, probably a couple more AoEs, but especially now with Christmas coming up where they tend to rerun assault battles, I think it's been quite good to get these online, especially with what I see as sub-optimal teams, and yeah, Relic Delta doing most of the heavy lifting, which is, there's a lot wrong with Relic Delta, but I think this is one of the benefits in terms of low-level assault battles and also raid attempts. So, yeah, so this now is Secrets and Shadows. So this was actually just yesterday, and you can do them with Phoenix. So it's either Phoenix or Night Sisters. Phoenix isn't ideal because, as I'll show in this video, Nihilus will always get an insta-kill in the final tier, which means you can't really 3-star it where you could just sim it each time. But as I found, it was pretty doable with the Phoenix characters we got. So for the anniversary quest, I did just take them up to a baseline of Relic 3. So I imagine not everyone has this, but Relic 3 is quite an easy investment. And also Era is at Relic 5 for the Profundity. This is me just putting on really bad mods. As you can see, I've got no real investment in the mods at all. I wanted to do this as minimal gear and investment as possible. Obviously, Relic 3 might be a bit more than what other people have, but I was considering just getting Rex to Relic 7 because he's a requirement, a Relic 7. But as it turned out, that wasn't really necessary. I just had that in my back pocket. But yeah, 4 of them at Relic 7 and Kanan at Gear 12. You might be able to do this with Ezra Gear 13 from the Lightspeed tokens, but I just find that Kanan overall is the more useful character. So yeah, bumped him up to Gear 12, also for his ship, and yeah, it seemed to do the job. So first 3 tiers are pretty straightforward. I think I stuck an auto until this stage where I just use AoEs, use basics in order to not burn AoEs. This one is quite often quite a difficult tier, but maybe not on Challenge Tier 1, and I had a little bit of a Relic Delta advantage, which helped get through that unscathed. Then it's a case of putting it on auto until the final tier. Again, all went pretty smooth. Having Captain Rex in there really makes it straightforward. Again, Relic Delta, I think I only have a 2 Delta advantage, which really isn't that much, but I guess it will help a little bit. And again, my mods are terrible on this team. Yeah, so yeah, doing it with the bare minimum, trying to get that 3rd assault battle unlocked. And of course, Phoenix, they have another assault battle they can do, the Rebel one, which is actually coming this week, which should be good. So this final tier here is the tricky one, because as you'll see in a bit, Nihilus, yep, insta-kills Hera, still able to get through it. After that, I've just was quite careful about trying to get maybe like a taunt up on a tank, so that if you were to insta-kill again, it would be on a less useful character. But I was able to essentially, yeah, overwhelm them and get Nihilus down before he got another insta-kill off. So pretty straightforward, seems quite repeatable, which I will have to do because it was only 2 stars. But yeah, happy with now my 3rd assault battle up and running, and I think I should be able to get to at least 5 Challenge Tier 1. Going forward, the ones that I might not be able to do are the Inquisitor one until we get the Lightspeed tokens, and maybe the Bounty Hunter one. We'll have to see. I might be able to do that actually with the characters I got from the Finalizer Lightspeed bundle, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, good progress on the assault battle side of it. To wrap things up, I will hop outside of the game and just go through my stats for this week. Okay, so in terms of spending this week, I guess this is the first week I actually haven't spent on Coliseum since it started, which is funny because it's been my best week in Coliseum. So yeah, I don't know what that says. I think what that says really is that I think the best place to spend, and I think this is probably obvious, is at the start, just because I think it becomes diminishing returns as you spend later on in the process, just because you have to spend on more characters in order to see a noticeable benefit, just the way the leveling works, and the summoned characters are scaled off the lowest ever leveled character, that sort of thing. So I've eased off the spending. It's been helped that they've actually started to give us a lot more era level currency, so I haven't had to spend on that. So yeah, so the only thing I have spent on this week is the episode pass, that will be one of my recurring spends. So it is a lot, and it still keeps me over my £50 a month plan. But yeah, will be something I will buy each month. And this month, I'm going to try not spend on top of this, and also potentially the Conquest Pass. I will have to see what the Conquest Pass gives you at medium level, because I can't remember exactly what you get there. If it's worth it, I might spend £10 on that. If not, this might be my only spend this month, which would be good. I guess we might have to wait and see what Christmas deals they are. We have a look through the data mines, but I'm going to try return towards the £50 a month rate, which I am over at the moment. In terms of Coliseum, as I mentioned, it's been quite a good week. So I think literally like the day after the update last week, I somehow snuck up to 29th, which was 500 error currency. That felt very much like a one-off, like all of the RNG just went in my favor for some reason, and I was able to get up there. So returned back to around about rank 40 where I've been since then. But today, or I guess technically yesterday, with the addition of Yoda and Chewie, I was able to get back into the top 30 and get 500 error currency. I don't think this will be too regular an occurrence, but I think I might be in between those levels, especially if I pay attention to the strategy and where to put my resources, that sort of thing. I think I could get a small advantage without actually spending anything more, which would be fantastic. And if I can get 500 error currency a day, that is one of those Carbonite Lightspeed tokens every 2 days, which is mad, and one Erodium Lightspeed token every 10 days, which is also crazy. I think I'd be happy being in the in-between stage. And as I mentioned, I haven't spent anything more. So the last date, I guess that's 9 days ago now. So we're currently, I think that's £16 total, if I do the maths right. Yeah, £16, which if that's the only era sort of gear investment I make each era, that seems like a pretty good deal with the amount of error currency, but we'll have to see how things shake out as the era goes along. Will I start to drop back down? Will I need to spend more? That sort of thing. So we'll have to wait and see. But so far with that level of investment, I'm relatively happy with what I've gotten so far, which is effectively nearly 2 Erodium Lightspeed tokens. Not quite, but just under that in that time. So we'll quickly finish off with fleets. Yeah, it's been very up and down this week. I got up to second. Effectively, my whatever this fleet is, this hybrid monster, I've effectively stopped any spending on it. I'm saving everything for the Home One and for the Profundity fleet, so I'm just making do with what I have, and then I'm going to hopefully start to pick things back up again over the next few weeks when I unlock Home One. So yeah, that about does it for what will be another extremely long account update. I feel they're just the way things have changed, they're just like a constant stream of things happening, especially around like the Lightspeed tokens and Coliseum. I've enjoyed the new account so far and the relatively rapid progress with the changes, but also obviously spending a little bit. I'm not blind to that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you have made it this far into the video, I would of course be extremely appreciative of a like or subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you next week for another update. So thank you very much.